Hello, Goblins.
Hello, welcome back to the cavern.
Yes, we're in the cavern right now.
Yes, and it's actually an attic, which is kind of funny. But
and we're joined by
Eden.
Yes, give it up for Eden Summerlin.
Woo-woo.
Welcome to the podcast.
That's their theme song. Woo, Eden
every episode will have a new intro, and this time it's Woo, Eden Summerlin.
That was good.
Thank you. We had a riff off in the car today, Grace and I, and it was really good.
So I've been experiencing a lot of technical issues just like in life. My car, I had to take this old car and like it needs an oil change or something. It needs service, and the computer is also broken or like not working, so there's no music. But we have a speaker in the car, and the speaker wasn't working, so there's no music for the 30-minute drive home, and so we just sang a little bit.
We did a riff off.
Yeah, we did a little
It was
riff
really
off.
nice, though. It was good.
But yeah.
And, we're going to start with a tarot reading.
We're going to start with tarot reading.
We do a tarot reading every time. So.
Guest first.
Guest first.
Put your energy in this.
It's really there.
All right, let's see. Let's see what happens. No peeking. Oh my god!
Whoa.
4 just flew out. Let's see.
They're literally jumping.
Okay. Oh my god.
Oh, that one's fun. Ooh, Oh, okay.
So,
anyone know how to interpret it without looking it up? Because I sure do not.
So we got 5 of these things.
That'd be sticks.
5 of wands.
The Fool and the Hierophant.
Biddy Tarot.
is...
So 5 of 1. Ooh. Conflict, disagreements, competition, tension, and diversity. Oh, you know.
That's kind of like fun, though.
What you been up to? Maybe I like transferred that to you because there's just like so much internal conflict brewing within me.
Oh my goodness.
What is that?
The
0?
Fool.
Okay, the Fool.
Which one is which astrological sign is it? Because that might be...
I don't know. Beginnings, innocence, spontaneity, and a free spirit. So true.
Right. Eden's a total free spirit over here. Let me look up what...
So
what
you have
sign are
unlimited
you?
potential.
Pisces.
Okay, Pisces, tarot card.
I'm looking up the Hierophant Tarot.
Are you the moon? Well, close enough.
Okay, ooh, this is cool. The Hierophant is the masculine counterpart to the High Priestess. He is also known as the Pope or the Teacher in other tarot decks and is ruled by Taurus. Okay. Do you have any Taurus in your chart?
No.
Okay.
Well,
me neither.
Well, actually,
Me neither.
my Mars is in Taurus.
Okay.
Mars. Okay. Spiritual wisdom, religious beliefs, conformity, tradition, and institutions. How do you feel about that all?
I'm not a fan of conformity.
That's so true.
It makes a lot of sense. This reading is perfect.
This
reading is 2 correct. That'd be 5 of Swords.
In verse 5 of Swords. Getting a lot of 5s today. 5s and 1s, so be on the lookout.
Oh yeah, we did get a lot of 5s.
All of them 5.
Oh, another conflict. Reverse. Reconciliation, making amends, and past resentment.
Okay, that's cool.
That's nice.
There's like a journey here.
Yeah, there is a journey.
That's really nice.
You're so right.
I really like it.
So, clearly we're, like, really good at tarot.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Every reading has been, like, good so far, though.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's Narst.
I will put my energy into that.
Okay, put your energy in, soak it in. And now we're shuffling Grace's for the audio viewers, which is everybody, because we're not recording it. That one really was dying to get out. So.
Oh, wow.
I'm just going to put it the upright. I'm going to cheat.
The
Knight of Wands, cool.
That must be good. I feel like a knight. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you're knightly.
So that means that I have energy, passion, inspired action, adventure, and impulsiveness. Very true for today.
Cool.
I'm very energetic today. I'm very passionate, very inspired.
Nice.
So, yeah,
awesome.
That's right.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna... Oops. And you also got strength. It just jumped out. It was practically...
I'm very strong.
Practically
so.
leaping.
So.
Okay, I guess I gotta put my
this in
energy.
here.
Let's just shuffle a little bit.
Whoa,
Oh my god, like literally half the deck just said. Let's read all of those, maybe. I need a detailed.
Oh, I didn't even start this freaking stopwatch.
It's okay.
Okay.
I felt it.
Now I'm shuffling for Ella.
I felt the magic.
Shuffling for Ella.
Let me make sure it's actually recording. Yes, it is.
Epic. That'd be so awkward.
I know.
Guys, today we finally learned how to upload our things to Spotify.
Yeah, it was really exciting. So our second video is going to be on Spotify soon. And then our first one will also do that eventually. And then this one's going on Spotify. So
Nothing's
check it
jumping
out. I mean, if you're listening, you're probably already on our Spotify. But, you know, this is me from the past speaking to you in the present.
Okay, I'm just going to take this one.
Cool.
Feels right.
6 of
Wands. Thank you, Eden. Without you, we would be gone.
We would be so lost.
We'd be like, that looks like a...
There's a guy and a horse.
Success, public recognition,
Oh my
progress,
God.
and self-confidence.
Okay.
Loves it. Let's see, what is
Heart.
this? Okay, nice. I love it.
Good job.
Makes sense for this podcast. Like, we're making gains
Everything
left and right.
made sense today.
Okay, so we just did our tarot reading, and now we will jump in to our
The
little
episode. Content.
Content. So we are joined today, as I have said, by Eden Summerlin. I have known Eden since we were in 4th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you known?
I have known Eden since we were in 6th grade, so around the same
so
time,
around
middle
the same-
school.
around the
Middle
same,
school.
And Eden is an admin on the account The Autistic Cats on Instagram and Twitter. I follow both. Yeah, no big deal.
Grace is a super fan.
I'm a super fan. I'm literally fangirling right now.
Grace has Autistic Cats merch. She's wearing her shirt right
you
now.
should make
I
Autistic
know.
Cat
Abby
merch.
has been trying to get me to make
Oh,
merch.
love Abby.
Yeah.
And they have 175,000 followers, which is like
Woo.
crazy.
Also, it's so funny, like, my RA from school, like, reposted something on her story from the
Oh my
Autistic
God.
Cats, and I was like, whoa, like, that's Eden. It's crazy.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So having 175,000 followers on Instagram, not just for yourself, not even like as like an influencer taking some selfies, getting a lot of followers, like you're an advocate for the autistic community,
Yes.
which is such a cool thing. But is there a lot of pressure that comes along with having such a big platform?
Yeah, I have to be very careful about what I say and what I write, and we have a review process for every post where we'll send it in the group chat, and people can make edits if they want to.
That's smart.
Okay. Wait, so how did you get started with it? Were you like an original creator for it?
So we have a mutual friend named Jasper who started the account in 2017,
Whoa,
and then I joined pretty soon after, and then I brought in 2 of my friends from a summer camp that I go to, Leo and Laurel. And we all know each other in person and we're friends, so that, like, we gelled together really well. And then Jasper kind of dropped off as an admin sometime last year, maybe last year and a half, just because he was busy with other things.
Yeah.
So I've kind of taken on the leadership role in the account. And then recently, my girlfriend Abby has also joined.
Nice.
Okay. And when did it start, like, gaining traction?
So it was very gradual. But within the last year, it has really taken off. I think we had like 30,000 followers last December, and then because of everything with Sia,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it like exploded. So now I have a much bigger reach.
That's really cool. And you were in a Rolling Stones article, like one of your tweets. That's so cool. What's been your craziest experience so far with the account?
Nick Dodani, who plays Zahid on Atypical, reached out to me.
Oh my
God.
And now follows us.
No way.
Whoa.
That's
That's really cool.
oh my god.
Yeah.
I love Zahid.
Yeah. So he actually emailed me and was like gonna try and get my review of Sia's film published.
Oh, right. I didn't realize that was who that was.
Yeah, that kind of
so
fell through. But
right,
but still.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is insane. What have you been most proud of?
I'm most proud when parents will DM or comment and tell me that what I've written has really helped them with parenting their child and, like, that their whole worldview has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the numbers don't really mean that much to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What means a lot is when people tell me that I've changed their lives.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And that's so important to have, like, good parenting for us autistic children, since there's so many bad parents out there for both autistic kids and, like, neurotypicals, but that's, like, how the world changes, like, from home.
Right.
So that's so important. What's, like, the biggest message you want to get across?
I think the biggest message I want to get across is that, well, there's a lot of different messages.
Yeah. Can only pick one.
I can only pick
kidding.
one.
You can whatever you want.
I think, like, one important thing for people to realize is that, like, autism is viewed as, like, we have a social deficit or we, like, are not good at interacting with other people, but actually we're the ones who have to learn, like, neurotypical social rules, and neurotypicals often don't really put in any effort to understand our way of doing things and, like, meet us halfway. And I also think, like autistic people are so marginalized, even in the disability community, because people with developmental disabilities are, like, the most looked down upon group of disabled people, and that is especially true for non-speaking autistic people. And so it's also really important to be listening to non-speaking people and not just people like me who can talk.
Yeah, right. And I feel like it's so important that there's a platform that's, like, educating and talking about autism that is run by, like, actually autistic people, because I feel like, not that I've had, like, extensive, like, education about autism and, like, what it is growing up, but anytime I did, it was some just, like, random teacher from my school who, like, and,
or
like,
a documentary.
And, like, by far the best way to learn about something is by someone who's experienced it, and I think, like, that's just so, like, important to, like, have that and share that with the internet, because then it's, like, this is the truth. This is the reality of my experience, because it's my experience, and, like, that's, like, one of the most important like things.
I also really admire how you're very interactive with your followers, because I think that really improves, like, widens the perspective, because you're having that interaction with people who maybe disagree with you, but you're able to, you know, show, I don't know. It's just really cool.
That's the other thing, like a lot of big creators don't really comment back at people or whatever, but I pay attention. I read every single comment.
Wow.
And there are a lot of them. So, yeah, I read every single comment. As much as I can, I try to look at people's story reshares and, like, see what they're saying. So I have a pretty good idea of, like, the general sense of what people are saying, and then also when people say something that's important, or I want to add on, or I want to respond to it, I do that. I mean, because I'm a human and they're humans, and, like, they care about me and I care about them, and so why wouldn't I interact?
Yeah, very true. I do sometimes understand when people don't read comments, because if they can get negative, it can be harmful, but with what you're doing, it's so important to
I feel like there's, like, a very healthy level of conversation and discourse, because, like, what Grace is saying, like, there can be too much, and I almost feel like Instagram is, like, a very, like, a better platform than other social media. It's, like, I'm thinking about TikTok, and, like, just, like, how messy, like, discourse, I don't even want to use the D word, because it's, like, discourse, but, like, just how messy it can get on TikTok, because it's, like,
on
you
the
make
For You page,
a video, and then the conversations happen in comments, and it's so hard to, like, articulate
Oh my
yourself.
God.
The comments are
That-
so limited.
Oh
It's
my
so hard to
God.
articulate what
Oh.
you're actually saying in 150 words, and, like,
so hard.
you could be agreeing with someone, but say it differently, and then
might think
people
you're
are,
disagreeing.
yeah, and I feel like, just from what I've observed and, like, understand is, like, you do a good job of, like, doing it in a, like, productive way, in, like, a healthy way, in a way that's, like, not too much one way or the other, and
Right.
that's very
Well, the
important.
other thing is that we did, about, like, a year or two ago, I limited comments to only people who follow us because we were getting a lot of trolls that were just, like, calling us the R word.
Oh my
and
God.
Yeah.
calling us school shooters and all this other stuff. Like,
So-
there are a lot of people on the internet who just hate autistic people for
Yeah.
no good reason, and so in order to protect ourselves, we have had to do that. But sometimes we get DMs from people who are like, why are you limiting conversation? You're not brave
that.
enough to actually have real discussion with
God.
people who disagree with you. And I'm like, maybe I simply want to protect my mental
Yeah.
health.
Yeah.
Also, take a look for like 5 seconds at your account. You're clearly interacting with people who do disagree with you.
Correct. Yeah. It's just that I only value the opinions of people who are caring about me and, like,
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
And putting in the effort to
Right.
educate themselves.
And, like, it's not your job as an admin or as, like, a content creator to constantly be in conversation with people.
Correct.
Yeah,
Like, you are
exactly.
sharing and educating to an extent, but it's not like you're there to, like, hold everyone's hand
Correct.
and, like,
Yeah.
make
Right.
them understand things, like,
Right.
that they can learn by looking at your page already.
Exactly. That's the other thing. Like, we get a lot of comments that are like, what does this acronym stand for? And I have a highlight, like,
Yeah.
the first highlight on the page, that's
That's so
the
funny.
acronym, and I'm like, guys, can you please Google it or,
Yeah.
like, look at our profile
It's so
before you
funny.
ask a question like
It's
that?
so funny when people use social media as like Google. They're like, what's
Right.
racism? That you can look it up in a dictionary. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. But starting the account, were you aiming to reach neurotypicals and educate them, or were you looking more to just engage with the autistic community, have discussions within the community?
It was both. I think originally it started with more engaging in the autistic community, and then as more and more neurotypicals, especially parents, started to kind of file in and, like, talk about things, and as I started following more parent accounts, I was like, okay, I need to be educating people who don't know anything. Like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of always been my mission in life, is to just change things, change people's perceptions, educate people. And so it's actually surprising sometimes how many neurotypical people follow us. Even people who have, like, no connection to autism at all, who are, like, the most neurotypical people you could ever imagine. Like, I look at their profile and I'm like, yeah, that's neurotypical. Like, they follow us, which it's kind of surprising sometimes, but it's good, and I feel really grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great segue moment. Unless you have anything else to add about it.
I had something. Oh, what if you noticed, because you say you look at the story shares, what have you noticed about performative activism? Has
True.
anything really, like, oh my gosh, what is the word? Really, like, you can look at it immediately and be like, these people are performative, they're just sharing because everyone else is sharing.
Yeah, I think that sort of happened, like, in April. A lot of big accounts were reposting stuff that I wrote, or, like, telling people, go follow the Autistic Hats, and they themselves didn't follow us.
Oh my god.
So I was like,
really funny.
sorry, what's going on here? Why are you gonna tell other people
Yeah.
to follow a page that you yourself don't follow?
That's so embarrassing, because
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
everyone who follows you can see who you're following.
Yeah.
So, like,
So that sort of thing has been kind of performative. But I do think, like, maybe the fact that I write about autism kind of shields me somewhat from performative activism, because it's not a very hot topic.
True.
And people don't often, like, know how to talk about it, or they don't want to talk about it. So I know that most people who are, like, resharing my stuff are people who actually care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Ellie, you want to segue?
Oh, yeah, I felt like there was a good segue going on. So, you are also, as I know, very interested in social change and various things that fall under that umbrella, that very large and vague umbrella. Yes. So, if there's anything you want to talk about in that regard or any interests of yours?
Yes.
I saw you post
many.
2 days ago about the Korean People's Association in Manchuria, and I didn't even read it because immediately I was like, we need to talk about this on the podcast.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers. So, take it away.
Okay, so the Korean People's Association in Manchuria was an anarchist federation in it's northern China. So, like, if you know where Korea is, it's just above North Korea, basically, is where this was happening, because there's a large Korean refugee population at the time, and it existed from 1929 until 1931 because it got squashed by outside forces from China and maybe also Japan, I forget. So it was, like, super cool. The whole thing was run based on a gift economy, which is the traditional kind of economy that you'll see in most matriarchal societies globally, where, like, you just give people stuff because they need it, and, like, everyone has this, like, common sense of reciprocity, like, we're all in this together, just take what you need. So they had free stores, basically, like, you would think of an all-purpose grocery store, except instead of paying for stuff, you just take what you need. And, like, people were working together to produce stuff for all of that. And they had a good thing going. And it was also, the government was structured democratically, so it was, like, local councils of people doing bottom-up decision-making. And if you look at other societies that are run on, like, the same principles, they all pretty much function the same way. Like, Rojava, which is in northern Syria, they pretty much function like that. It's a little bit different, but the basics are the same.
That's really cool. The thing that I love about, or not love, how am I trying to segue? So, you know, when people are like, oh, communism has never worked because look at the Soviet Union, look at how terrible China's government is, look at Venezuela. But the thing about that is communism, when it works, or, right, Korean People's Association in Manchuria, that's basically like
that was true. That was true communism.
True communism works on a smaller scale. Like, I feel like it revolves around community so much, so of course it's not gonna function on high, like, giant
well,
scales.
That's the thing, is, like, if you have a state is a hierarchical organization, and it's also a patriarchal organization. You really can't have communism without getting rid of hierarchy and patriarchy.
Exactly.
And so that's why the Soviet Union was like that. It's like, basically, instead of having a bunch of different little corporations, like, competing with each other, the whole entire state became one corporation, and then everyone was just kind of incorporated into that. And then you can call it communism because technically you're all, like, part of the same thing, but the resources are still not being distributed evenly, and it's still not democratic decision making.
Right.
So the way I think about communism, true communism, is just that it's democracy in both the government and the economy.
Yeah, right. I always feel like the argument communism doesn't work, like, first of all, like, how do you say doesn't? Like, it's a didn't. It's a not like a doesn't, like it never. It just hasn't historically in a lot of places. Not all, but a lot of places. Like, the argument of, well, communism doesn't work because it didn't work in these places. It's like, was like,
capitalism doesn't work anywhere.
Like, communism was the only ideology there, which frustrates me so much. I'm like, in a given, like, state or country or nation or, like, area, there's not one single ideology or practice that is controlling everything. Like, it's not like there's just communism.
Exactly.
Like, and like it didn't work because there were other things there that negated or contradicted
Exactly.
communism. And like the word communism's like, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, but it's also just a word. Like, at the end of the day,
True.
like, a label isn't going to make something work or not. Like, you just have to combine a lot of
Right.
things until it's the best for the best amount of people.
Very
And
correct.
I don't know. It's that whole argument that, oh, communism doesn't work. It's like, yeah, because other things were happening.
Yeah.
It's not just communism's
Literally,
fault.
you could use context
For-
clues, maybe.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's pretty
Louise
crazy.
has to shut down.
Do you want to explain Rojava too? Because that
Yeah,
always interested
yeah,
me
Rojava's really
so
cool.
much when you would talk about it.
Sorry.
So, Rojava is a region in the Middle East, and it's populated by Kurdish people, Arab people, and also other ethnic minorities like Yazidis, Assyrians, Babylonians.
Whoa. Throwback.
TBT to Babylon.
and so it's like basically in order to understand what's going on in Rojava, you have to understand what the Kurds have been going through for the past like century basically. So after I forget which world war, Europe basically carved up the Middle East into a bunch of different nation
I
states.
think one.
Yeah, World War One probably. So Europe carved up the Middle East, and the Kurdish people were promised a nation state of their own. But what ended up happening is that because of Europe's geopolitical interests, they were like, no, we gotta like group these people according to our
Randomly,
liking.
yeah. Oh my god. I love when they do that. It's just so amazing.
So the Kurds did not end up getting their own nation state, and instead what ended up happening is that they were like spread across Turkey, Syria, Iran, and Iraq. And in Turkey particularly, because that's where like most of the Kurdish population is, as you may know about nation states, there's usually this like kind of chauvinistic national identity thing that goes on that's often very ethnocentric in
Right.
like a certain way. And so Turkey was like, we are Turks. All of us are Turks, and we are Turkish, and
Oh,
this is
God.
Turkey. And the Kurds were like,
Actually.
about that. And so they got oppressed. They were not allowed to speak Kurdish at all for a period of, I don't remember how many years, but it was a lot. Could not practice their traditional customs, could not wear their traditional clothes, anything like that. And then in like I forget when the PKK was formed, but that was like the Kurdish Liberation Army, and they were a Marxist-Leninist organization, and they were trying to create an independent Kurdish state that was going to be a communist state. And
That was 1974.
Right. And at this time, the Soviet Union was still a thing, so, like, you can understand, like, geopolitically, Turkey is kind of close to Russia. And so Turkey got really freaked out about that. And the leader of the PKK, Abdullah Öcalan, he is my fave.
Zaddy.
He started out as a Marxist-Leninist, so he believed that a centralized state was like the best way to ensure that Kurdish people would not be wiped off the face of the earth. But then in the 1990s, I believe, he got captured by the CIA.
Classic move.
And then put in solitary confinement on an island in the Mediterranean. And he's the only prisoner on the whole entire island. And he read some books by Murray Bookchin, who is
we go.
from Vermont.
Oh
my God.
He lived in Burlington for a while, and he was friends with Bernie
Whoa,
Sanders.
that's your
actually.
school.
Yeah.
Me and Eden go to University of Vermont.
Yeah. And the Institute for Social Ecology, which he founded, is actually not that far away from UVM.
Fun.
Speaking of connections, the Institute for Social Ecology actually follows the Autistic Cats for
Whoa! It's so full circle. Oh my
because
god.
apparently there are a lot of autistic people who are interested in this.
Of course. That makes sense.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the person who runs the social media for the Institute of Social Ecology is autistic, which is really funny to me. So anyways, so they follow us. It is really a full circle.
Everything is just
when
a
I found
circle.
out about that, I was like,
Synchronicities.
you're kidding me.
That must have been such a great moment.
Yeah.
I would have cried.
I did a little bit. So, yeah, anyways, so Murray Bookchin had this idea, and he was like, I've been thinking about the ecological crisis and climate change, and I've been thinking that maybe, just maybe, the reason why humans are doing all these bad things to the environment is because our social systems are really messed up and we're doing bad things to each other. And
wow. Who
he
could
was
have
so right.
ever thought about that?
And
Wow.
so his key slogan is all ecological problems are social problems.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was against all forms of hierarchy, and that means nation states, patriarchy, racism, homophobia, all this stuff. He was like, gotta get rid of that. All that is bad. Capitalism, that's a key one. That is a very big hierarchy. So Öcalan was reading these things and going, maybe my idea about a nation state was actually bad. And so then he wrote a manifesto called Democratic Confederalism, where he was like, I think that the root of all of these problems is patriarchy. He was like, patriarchy is the oldest form of oppression, and it gave rise to capitalism and nation states and all these other bad things. And so once he realized that, he was like, oh shit, I was wrong. I have to fix all of this. so he wrote a book, got his lawyers to publish it somehow, and then what ended up happening is during the Syrian civil war, there was a vacuum of space in the northern part of Syria where a bunch of Kurdish people lived, and they used to be very heavily monitored by Assad's government. But once the civil war started, he could not focus on that region anymore, so he had to pull out all of the forces. And so ultimately, the Kurds had the freedom to implement the system that Öcalan had the idea of creating, which is democratic confederalism. And the three core principles of it are feminism, social ecology, which is humans being in balance with nature, and direct democracy.
Awesome.
In all aspects of society. So that's what's been happening there for a pretty long time now. And I forget exactly how many millions of people live in Rojava, but it's, I think, at least over 2 million.
Here, I'll look it up. 4.6 million.
Yeah, so that's millions of people who are
That's
living...
so much more than I thought.
Right, who are living under this system where they are governing themselves and resources are pretty much shared in common. There is still land ownership and stuff, but what they're trying to do is incentivize people to join cooperatives instead of traditional businesses where the workers don't actually own or control what they're doing. And it's working out, and it gives me a lot of hope for the future, because the longer that it exists, the more people learn about it, the more improvements are made to the system there, and then...
As long as it doesn't get stifled by the CIA. Knock
Right.
on wood.
Well, the other thing is that the Kurds are viewed as a threat to Turkey.
Right.
And so Turkey has invaded, actually, and totally, committed genocide in this one region of Rojava called Afrin. They just wiped everybody out, basically, and so Rojava, as it existed there, does not exist anymore. It's now controlled by these fundamentalist groups and Turkish armed forces. So that's bad. But the rest of Rojava does still exist, and I love telling people about it because I think it expands people's idea of what's possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what happened for me. I was very much like, well, capitalism is bad, but like communism has never worked anywhere, so what are we supposed to do? But then when I heard about Rojava, I was like, whoa. It can actually like kind of work.
Like no one knows about it.
Yeah, right.
I only know about it because of you.
Yeah.
Same.
Like I would not know. And so if that exists, like what the fuck else exists?
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. Well, that's the other thing. Like since getting into Rojava, like a lot of the people who know and talk about Rojava are also just, you know, anarchists, and so they know about all these other places. So there's also the Zapatistas in Mexico, which are a group of indigenous people who have basically implemented a version of what's happening in Rojava in their own area, and it's a much smaller area, but they've been going at that since like the 80s. So they've existed for a really long time, and they're vibing, they're having a good time, and there are other places where this sort of thing is happening. It's not just in Rojava, and like the more I learn about history, like I didn't know about the Korean People's Association of Manchuria until like 2 weeks ago, and that was very exciting to me because I had always wondered, is there something special going on in Korea? Because they've been colonized a lot by a lot of different people, and they still have this very strong sense of culture and like self-preservation. And I've always been like, I think there might be like a little bit of matriarchal activity going on there. So when I found out about this, I was like, yes, it's been confirmed. But a lot of this stuff doesn't last for that long, which is the sad thing, because there are so many outside forces trying to squash it so that people in their own countries don't realize what's possible.
True.
Yeah.
Damn. It's so cool to think about how things are done and you aren't even educated about it, and then oh my god. It exists.
It's a lot.
Period. There's just a lot.
Period. There is a lot.
There is a lot. Yep.
There's a Murray Bookchin quote, that I really like. That I think it was like one of your Instagram bios at one point.
Something is acid that corrodes. That one.
Quote, maybe. But yeah,
the assumption that what currently exists must necessarily exist is the acid that corrodes all visionary thinking.
Very true.
And basically, that just means you might think that the systems that we have right now are just like never gonna go away, they're never gonna change, but making that assumption is what prevents change from happening.
Yep.
And if you stop boxing yourself in, you can open yourself up to all of these different ideas about different ways to do things.
Yeah. And I honestly, maybe I'm just like too optimistic with it, but like I feel like we are on the brink like of something changing a lot. I mean, I don't know. I feel like every generation gets lefter and lefter, but like I don't want to speak for every single person who is young right now, because I very much live in like a bubble and I'm surrounded by a lot of people who think the way I think, and I know that there's a lot of people who think very differently that are like Gen Z, if we're going to talk about it like from a generational viewpoint, but like I don't know, like I'm only 19, so I don't really know what to compare to, but I just feel like I sense this like massive like shift or like understanding that like things are really fucked up, which is not a new thing. Like, things have been fucked up and people have known, but I feel like sort of an understanding of why, which is the most important, dare I say, thing, because it's like people are starting to like be able to say like all these awful things exist because of this, and not just they exist, there's nothing we can do about it, life sucks. And I just like, I feel like we're kind of going into like a new era of things and what's possible, and like it kind of sounds like out there, like I don't want to sound like I'm like some conspiracy theorist, like we're entering a new era, like this is an energy shift, but like I genuinely do think like we're going through a big change, like a big, like, renaissance kind of change. Like, we're entering something like that, especially with, like, technology and AI and, like, all that stuff coming in. Like, I don't know. But in a good way. I like to be hopeful about
going
it.
to Mars.
We're going to Mars.
Oh my God.
We're going to Mars.
Yeah. I agree with that. And I think something that's kind of interesting to me, you guys know Marina Diamond.
Yes, I know her. Big fan.
She's releasing an album soon.
Yes, I heard Purge the Poison, very good.
Yes, and her song, like, Purge the Poison, she names capitalism.
Yes.
In that song for the first time in any of her music, and, like, I was like, oh, okay, we're going there. Like, and she's, like, she's not a huge celebrity, but she's not a small celebrity either.
Yeah,
she's, like, there are a lot of people who listen to her music, and, like, she said herself in a recent, like, live stream, like, she feels like things are shifting, and she is just kind of riding that wave and being like, okay, I think it's go time, actually, everyone. I think it's time to actually change stuff instead of just talking about all the bad things. Like, we can do this.
I agree. Yeah. Humans are very powerful. I mean, look at what we've already done. We had a forest and we turned it into sour cream and onion potato chips. A little throwback to our first episode. But yeah. Oh, speaking of technology, should we segue? Okay,
sure, yeah.
Perfect
This
segue.
is the time.
So, last
completely
night,
different topic, actually.
Me and Ella were talking about technology, and we were like, why haven't we come up with a way to record smell yet? Well, that was mostly Ella's point, and I was trying to explain that smell comes from molecules being processed by, like, our nose. I don't really know the biological things, but I know that smell is molecules and whatever, which is very different from light and sound, which we have found ways to record because they're waves and frequencies that can be read by things. But you can't just recreate molecules easily, like in an accessible way. You can recreate them in, like, a lab by doing things, but
I mean, I had a theory.
Okay, what's
I had
theory?
a plan, and if any like tech execs are watching, listen up, because
Elon Musk.
This is what everyone should put all their chickens in, right? Is that the expression? All their eggs in this project.
Yeah.
This
Ignore
is the most
climate change,
this is the most important thing we can do right now. Like, I think that the phones would have to, like, probably quadruple in size for this to work and be like created with, like, a molecule maker, which I'm not sure about what that would be, but, like, to record a smell, you would have to have some chip reader that would, like, record not the molecules themselves.
Right.
So it wouldn't actually be able to produce the same smell. But I don't even know if it produces the same sound or just a replication of the waves. Because it's not the same sound. It's just the same waves.
Right.
Because if it's the same, one sound can only exist when it's happening.
Right, that's true.
So it is the same kind of a sound. From what I know, and I don't know a lot. But I feel like the chip reader would have to interpret the molecular makeup of the scent that is being produced. And I don't know if it could do this for every scent, because there's some complicated scents out there. And then would have to transmit that, like, makeup, whatever it, like, how that would work. Like, say, like, this is, like, 2 carbon, 3 nitrogen, I don't fucking know. And then send that over to another device, which would then read it. And then the device that produces molecules, which I don't know what that would be, because I think that would have to be made in a lab, but if they could do it small scale, and then that would just, like, shoot out the the smell jack. So if anyone wants to get on that, feel free, but...
Oh my goodness. I agree with you.
Yeah, you go.
If you, like, found a way for something to read a specific molecule and then transmit the information. But the complicating factor would be there are so many smells in an environment at any given time. How are you going to capture the correct one?
So true. But something interesting, this is from a few years ago, so I might have some of this information a little bit wrong, but they were trying to develop a way that you could feel things without, like, touching them. So with your phone, say you had your phone and you were, like, pointing it around the room, you could feel the screen and, like, feel everything in the room, and maybe you could, like, zoom in and feel the certain texture of, like, say, the blanket over there that's halfway across the room. But why they stopped making it is because they realized that some men, or not just men, I don't want to just, categorize men as the predators, but some predators might use it to feel people's
skin. Yeah.
Not just skin, just might feel people's bodies without consent. Oh. Which would be...
That would be bad.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's not good.
So that's why they stopped doing that. But I did find it interesting because how they did it was, I think they would use the vibrations of the objects in the room and somehow transmit that, and so your phone would actually be vibrating a certain way, but it would feel like the object.
That's interesting.
That is cool.
Yeah.
But
I think it's
that
cool.
is
but also
questionable.
Yeah, very questionable. Because, with patriarchy, there's always a way to make things creepy.
True. Well,
so.
That's the other thing about technology is, like, technology is kind of neutral. Like, you can use it for a lot of different things, but if the society that you live in is patriarchal and capitalist and whatever, and it's motivated by all these things, and the way that you use that technology is probably not going to be good.
Yeah.
True.
So, yeah. We
We
gotta get rid of patriarchy before we can have something touch feeling on the phone.
Because the annoying thing about
can't have shit in capitalism.
how they stopped that that development was it was supposed to help blind people. Mm-hmm. So it would have been a really good accessibility tool, but unfortunately there's always going to be people that are creepy. So yeah. That was our fun little discussion.
And then we thought about taste as well, but that's...
Yeah, but that's kind of the
that's
same
not
as
even... That's way out there.
Yeah.
You'd have to lick this, like...
that would get pretty gross.
That's absurd.
But, I mean, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs did it, so...
Yeah.
True, so we can do it.
We can do it.
If they can do it, we can do it.
Yeah. If you can dream it, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's what I think. All right, should we Goblins play games?
Okay.
All right, so we're going to do categories. So we're going to say a category.
Like the writing one?
No.
Okay.
That's categories, I think.
No, whatever.
So we're going to say a category, and then we're going to go around and name things in that category until we run out of things to say. So, first countries. North Korea.
Armenia.
Canada.
Azerbaijan.
North Korea. No!
Okay. Already out. Okay, me and Ella.
Mexico.
Argentina.
Venezuela.
Colombia.
Brazil.
Suriname.
Manchuria.
Not a country.
Oh, I was going all down South America and then I forgot every country.
Grace won.
You're going to win this.
Maybe.
Because this is like something you're just said you're good at. Before we started the episode, Grace actually said, can we play categories? Because I'm good at it.
Okay, you want to pick a category then?
Sure. We can do, let's see.
We don't want to get a noise that's like incorrect buzzer.
What kind of categories are you looking for?
We could do like colleges.
Oh, that's fun. That's really good. That's fun. Okay, I'll start. University of Georgia.
University of Florida.
University of Vermont.
University of Pittsburgh.
Ohio State University.
Penn State.
Georgetown.
My goodness. University of Texas.
UPenn.
UCSB.
That's a good one.
Oxford.
Princeton.
UCLA. She just moved to
She just moved to LA.
I'm stuck.
Eden is eliminated.
Alright, let's go.
Brown.
Berkeley.
Harvard.
UC Berkeley.
Yale.
Cambridge.
Lafayette.
Mount Holyoke.
Colgate.
Smith.
Your mom! Grace is out. You get the point. I got so caught up in the life.
The life? Whose
the
life?
Lifestyle. Oh, lifestyle. I have a good category. Muppets.
No. Okay, fine. I'm gonna be
go first.
Elmo.
That's a good one there.
Miss Piggy.
Kermit.
Bernie.
Fozzie.
Animal.
What?
That's not one!
Okay. Oscar the Grouch.
Swedish Chef.
I'm out. I'm gone.
Bert.
Ooh, we already said that one.
No, I said Ert.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you can keep going.
Okay, Bert.
Beaker.
Oh, I love Beaker. Ernie.
We definitely said Ernie.
Oh, I said Bernie and Ert. That was what I messed up with.
You're right. You know what? That was just a mess of a round, so it's not.
That was messy.
Messy. You can pick a category.
Dog breeds.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, Vizsla.
Yellow Lab.
Weimaraner.
Golden Retriever.
Poodle.
Lab.
Dachshund.
Chihuahua.
Shih Tzu.
Great Dane.
Mutt.
You sure?
Dalmatian.
Australian Shepherd.
Boxer.
Yorkie.
English Bulldog.
Beagle.
Pitbull.
French Bulldog.
Hound.
Sure.
Okay.
Beagle.
We already said
Was
Beagle.
that said?
Damn.
Yes.
That was a repeat. I don't know any dogs.
Husky.
You win.
Okay,
I don't know enough dog breeds to keep going.
I knew like one more. Anyways. Next I will say trees.
Like species?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Oak.
Aspen.
Maple.
Aspen. Birch.
Pine.
Spruce.
Beech.
Oak.
I already said oak.
Oh.
Fir.
Maple.
I already said maple.
Okay.
Damn.
Grace is
Grace
winning.
is eating.
We knew
Eating.
it was going to happen.
Alright. Someone else want to pick a category?
I was thinking like astrological bodies, but there's not that many. They were kind of limited.
Yeah. MILFs. I'm just kidding.
Colors. I'm kidding. What's like?
Oh my god, this is literally
This is
so
hard. Why is
presidents.
This is gonna be embarrassing
Okay.
for me, but it's fine. Wilson.
Taft.
Harding.
Obama.
Bush.
Trump.
Ugh.
Biden.
Lincoln.
Clinton.
Washington.
James Adams.
Tyler.
Nixon.
Woodrow Wilson.
Polk.
Hoover.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Reagan.
Okay, you got it.
You got
it. Root of all problems.
True.
Taylor.
Kennedy. 4, 3, 2,
1. Lyndon B. Johnson.
Madison, or did we say it?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Carter.
Bram.
Maybe one day. Okay.
I
So
don't
I think
care for them.
so I had 4 points. Eden had 0 points. Ella had 1 point. So I think that makes me the winner. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you can take this one.
Clap.
You won, Grace.
I think you can take it.
Thank you. So to conclude, would you like to conclude?
To conclude, we had a really awesome episode and an
basically
awesome time
amazing
with Eden Summerlin, who is so cool and so knowledgeable and so worldly and learned and educated and articulate and runs a really successful account on Instagram, which is
Follow their
impressive because I have made so many accounts that have been like disgustingly unsuccessful. So like honestly, a lot of respect and admiration for that and the patience. I could never. But that's really, really cool.
So follow their account
Autistic
Cats on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you for
Thank
watching my malignity.